There is a sense, isn't there, at the beginning of our gospel today, that those disciples were returning to some sort of normality. That everything that had gone on with the shenanigans of the last week, the group of Jesus' closest companions returned to their jobs, go back to those former lives. They go off fishing. And isn't it true that there is a great comfort with the familiar? I know that for me, I find the familiar something comforting. I know that when I'm overwhelmed by things, I return to that which is most familiar. Those same repeats on the telly, for example, the same pattern of the things that we do, the place where we feel escape. Perhaps this is just what those disciples needed, just at that moment. A safe space, a secure space, something familiar. And of course we know, don't we, that Jesus has a way of turning the familiar and the safe on its head. And this he does here with his request to those disciples to cast their nets back into the right side of the boat. What does he say? He said to them, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some fish." In the miraculous catch of fish, then, we see that they were so full that those disciples, those experienced fishermen in their own rights, struggled to haul in the catch. As we listen to this incident of the miraculous catch of fish in these post-resurrection days, our minds may connect in a way to Jesus' first invitation to them, all the way back at the start of his ministry, when he invited those disciples, first of all, to become fishers of men. If you remember, he calls them to him, calls them to mission. He calls them to follow him and to be with him. So while indeed there is a semblance of things returning to a form of normality, for those disciples, in their encounter with the risen Lord at the shore of that Sea of Tiberias, things are less than ordinary. What we witness in reality is a sort of a recommissioning of their mission to go and be fishers of men. That universal call to go out and make disciples, to bring in a great catch. Pope Benedict reflected, he says that the net full of fish, which does not tear, is the symbol of the Church's mission to gather all the people into the unity of Christ. What a wonderful image that we have of that moment. And as we come together this morning to remember and to pray for Pope Francis, we are able to offer our own prayers of thanksgiving for the way in which he lived out his Petrine ministry among us in his own way. How he was able to respond to the Lord's invitation to put down those nets into the deep of the world and to haul in a catch. If one of his first encyclical letters, Evangelii Gaudium, the joy of the gospel, was to be a sort of a manifesto of his ministry among us, then the invitation that he issues in that encyclical, that he offers to us right at the start of his time in the shoes of the fishermen, can become his refrain, his slogan, becomes for us an invitation today. He says, "I invite Christians everywhere at this moment to a renewed and personal encounter with Jesus Christ." an encounter with Jesus Christ will always lead to that recognition moment. Look to the beloved disciples' words to Peter, "It is the Lord." And we can say the same to the vast number of people who gather at this time in Rome to offer their respects, to offer their prayers in thanksgiving to the Holy Father and his ministry, of the way he put down those nets to haul in for a catch. Because this becomes the core of the gospel message. This became for the Holy Father the core of his ministry among us, to issue that invitation to those periphery pointers of our world, to a renewed personal encounter with Jesus Christ. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord. May he rest in peace. May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace.